Parker, Platinum Premier, and today we're going to talk about optimizing your online events for infinite impact. When we talk about having a successful event, the first thing we usually talk about is PV, right? If you had a lot of PV, then the event was a success. And yes, PV is awesome, but it's sort of finite. If you just think in those terms, where do you go from there, right? But if you think about the more infinite aspects of having a party, which are all in the connections, then your one party can have impact all the way through to the end of your Posh career. If you have made connections, you have new customers, you have grown your customer base and your VIP group, you are likely to get referrals, you are likely to have people giving Posh as gifts to new people, you are likely to get hosts, and of course you're getting yourself in front of more people so that you can build your team. So this goes on infinitely. If you have one event with no actual connections made, no new VIPs, no new parties, no new team members, it stands alone. But if you have booked a few parties and then you book parties from there and you meet people who would join your team from one of those parties, it can go on forever. So to optimize an event, I like to focus on a few things. The first one is obviously coaching and supporting the host, because if you want people in front of you at the event, you want guests, you want people to be excited, you want people to potentially book from that event and maybe join your team, you need your host's help. The next thing is getting bookings at the event. I make sure to focus on that, and I aim to get at least 3. It doesn't always happen, but I'm very intentional about putting the effort in to get that infinite impact from that event. And then last is offering the opportunity, which is super important, and you want to make sure that's part of the event every single time. I know a lot of people sort of feel uncomfortable offering the opportunity, but there are a lot of great ways you can embed that into your event that don't have to feel salesy or sketchy or strange. It's just a natural part of any event. So let's talk about coaching and supporting your host. The first thing I like to do is send host mail. And this includes samples, of course, so that they can try some new things and get excited. In addition to the products they already love, you want them to be able to review some new things, some things that they're newly excited about and maybe want to add to their wish list. I like to include a handwritten note. I think this is super important for personalizing, making them feel special, because you're sending them snail mail. We don't get snail mail unless we purchased it ourselves, like 1,500 deliveries of Amazon in the last year, but I already know what's inside most of the time. So they're getting personal, fun mail from someone, so you want to make sure that opening that package is an experience for them. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. I like to include things like chocolate or other kinds of candy, bubbles. You can get like the little wedding bubbles on Amazon for really cheap. You can get a lot of them. I like to include stickers, magnet with my logo, things like that. And then if it's possible, you can chat with them a little bit about whether they come in contact with people or if they have people local to them that will be guests at the event. But I like to ask them if they have people they could share samples with that will be guests at the event and be willing to do reviews. And if that's the case, I just make up a few sample packs that are the same so that during the event I can focus on the items in that and ask people to share their reviews. So you can hit the dollar spot, you can hit the dollar store. You don't have to break the bank, but just try to make it an experience to open that host mail. So the next thing I like to think about is building the relationship. So after they book their event, before you send host mail, after you've sent the host mail but before their party, be chatting with your host and getting to know each other. Build that relationship. Talk about things that aren't necessarily posh. You just want to build their trust so that they want to work with you on this party. They'll listen to the things that you say when you're giving them coaching, and they'll be more invested in making sure the outcome is great, not just because they're going to earn free Posh or hang out with their friends, but also because they care about you and they know that this also impacts you. So another thing that you want to do is make sure you're preparing your host. You want to make sure that in your host mail, you send a host packet, and I believe there is something in the files in Posh Bosses. It's about 4 pages, it's Posh branded, and it's something that you can print out and include in your host packet. It explains how a party works and how to invite people wisely, and I have it right in front of me, and it has the little wish list so they can start writing down the things that they'd like to earn with the event, and then they can sort of calculate how many party sales they need. So the next thing we want to do is prepare the host. When we send our host kit, I like to include, it's just a 4-page printout that is in Posh Bosses. It's Posh branded, and it has information about how the party works, how shipping works, but it also has a place where they can create a wish list, and then they can kind of do the math to see what kind of sales the party needs in order for them to earn those things for free. And it also has information about creating a guest list intentionally. It has like the little Frank's prompt. It's a memory jogger to help them think of who they might like to invite to the event, because I always encourage them to invite no more than 50. 15 to 20 is like a good minimum of people who really would want to be there, who want to support the host, who love naturally based products and things like that. You just want to make sure they are not mass inviting, because that's so impersonal, and it definitely decreases the likelihood that people are going to RSVP or engage once they get there, because they can feel kind of invisible. And the last thing I like to focus on is building their confidence. I like to make sure that they know they're not in it alone. You're there with them every step of the way. I make sure they know I'm going to check in with them every single day, not only to give them an update on their host rewards, but just to make sure they don't have any questions, and to give them little tasks they can do to have a really successful event. And then make sure you follow through once you make this promise. I think that is huge in building trust and confidence. And then you want to define their job to them. It's really simple. You're being a host just like you would if you were hosting an event in your house. You want to make sure you invite people, that you interact and engage with them while you're there, comment when they comment, chit chat in the comments, and then also make sure that you're getting people excited, because the entire point is to share your love for Posh, so that they can fall in love with Posh and order, and you get host rewards, everyone wins. And then last, I like to reassure them their people want to hear from them. They don't have to do video reviews if they're not comfortable, but any kind of review of their favorite products, especially with their face in a photo, it can mean the world in the party. People want to hear from them much more than they want to hear from me, because they are friends with that person. They know that person, and they know I sell Posh and I might have other interests involved in this event, but their friend is hosting because they love Posh, and their opinion matters more than mine ever could. I talked about daily tasks, and I actually created a group for my entire team to use. It's a host help group, and all it is just a little explanation of the host rewards and 5 posts that are numbered with challenges that that person can do if they complete each of these challenges, which are really just tasks that they can do to help have a successful event. Their consultant will give them an extra prize as long as the event reaches over $200. So I included in the deck some different examples of the kinds of things you could include with your challenges. You don't have to have a whole group for it, but it's a great way to be like, each day make sure that they're doing a task that will help them have a successful event. So you can go ahead and screen cap that and take a look at that later on. So now we have a really engaged host that's making hosting look easy and fun. So the next thing we really need to focus on is booking more events from this event. There are a lot of different ways that you can book events or plant seeds for events indirectly, so I'll talk about those first. The main thing I like to do is pay attention to who is paying attention. Anybody in the event who is super engaged, or it seems motivated by winning prizes, or who just seems to be really excited about the products, is going to make an amazing host. So I sort of just keep a list of that, so that I can reference it throughout the event. You also want to make sure you're posting about the rewards in the event, and share a post talking about what the host is working for, what the different options are for rewards, and make sure you share the dates you're available if someone else would like to get on your calendar. Make the dates finite and limited so that there's a little bit of a sense of urgency to get on your calendar. I like to create reasons to reach out to people personally, so I'm definitely interacting in the comments, making sure to chit chat with all of the guests, but I'm also I like to create at least 4 opportunities for me to private message a guest. So I have a participation prize. There's a lot of different participation point options in Glamstar Graphics group, but basically I have different things people can do, like joining my VIP and ordering, that they can earn points, and at the end whoever has the most points wins a participation prize. So when they win that, I say congratulations, and I'm going to PM you. And that gives me an opportunity to slide into their DMs and chit chat about what kinds of things they would like to try, so that I can make a customized sample pack to include with their prize. And I usually give them a Google form that they can fill out with their address and information about skincare needs and allergies and things like that. But also at the bottom, there's a place where they can mark whether they're interested in booking an event. So this is sort of an indirect way of just gauging their interest. And even if they say no, it doesn't mean they won't book an event, but this is sort of a stepping stone for future conversations. I also like to do some kind of guessing game where whoever's closest will earn a deluxe sample pack from me. And again, when they win, I can message them and chat. And every time I'm doing this, it's telling Facebook, that darn Facebook algorithm, that we are close. We have personal conversations. We're not just acquaintances. So it will, if we're friends on Facebook, so it's a good idea to friend them as long as you keep your Facebook professional. It tells them we're friends and we want to see more from each other, so it will show you each other's posts, which helps you continue to build a relationship beyond the event. And then I like to have 2 other drawings where people just engage in the post and I do a drawing for them to earn cash back from their order in that event. So now I've created 4 opportunities to have conversations privately with guests. So at the end of the event, I always do a post thanking everyone for coming, and I also talk about what the host has earned. And this is also a great opportunity for the host to help out. She can share a screenshot of the cart where all of the rewards are being used, or they can come back on even well after the event has ended. If they come into the group and share photos of the items that they received in the mail, that's also a really great indirect way of showing people, like, it would be a really great idea if you booked. Look at all the free stuff you can get. Okay, so now let's talk about the more direct ways we can book. Enlist your host to help you get more events. I like to offer a couple of different things depending on the host. One thing you can do is just say, hey, if we get 3 events booked from your event, then I'm going to give you an extra gift at the end. Another thing you can do is just offer cash back. So for every event we book at your event, you will get $5 or $10 cash back on your order inside their event. So that not only encourages them to help you book more events, it also means they're going to attend because they have credit. The most obvious thing you can do is personally ask people to book an event. This is the scariest, I think, for a lot of people, but it doesn't have to be a scary thing to do. Just keep it simple. You don't have to overthink it. Keep it very simple. When you're speaking to people who have earned prizes, it might be a great opportunity to say, you know, you are really, really great at this already. It's almost like you're a host. You're so excited. I'm loving your engagement. And, you know, would you like to book an event with me that's similar to this one? I have some openings in August and September. Or you can say, hey, I have an opening on my calendar for next month and you seem like you would be really great at this. Would you like to earn some Posh for free and then just give whatever specific date there is. A lot of times people will say yes because they just won something, they're in a good mood, they associate you with great things, and they're having a good time at your event. So it's a great time to offer that opportunity to them. And another thing to think about, I like to ask more than just the winners. So those are some great people to start with, obviously, but there are other people who attended, who engaged, who purchased, and even if they did not win a participation prize, I will message them or chat with them somewhere on a thread where it makes sense and just say, hey, like, you didn't win the participation prize, but you were so great. I would love to send you a sample pack to thank you. And then, you know, take it to PM if you're not already there. You can have them fill out a Google sample form to give you your address and their preferences. And again, in that form, it asks them if they'd be interested in hosting. You can also directly ask them, like, hey, while I'm chatting with you, would you be interested in hosting? Because I can also send you some information on that with your samples. So you have a lot of different natural ways to directly ask that don't feel imposing and doesn't feel like sketchy or strange. It's just embedded in the process of the party. Now let's talk about offering the opportunity. This can be a little bit scary, especially if you're just starting out, but there are a lot of little ways you can include it in your event, so it's sort of naturally embedded and it doesn't have to feel strange. The first thing you can do is include information about the starter kit and the opportunity in your host packet for your host. That offers a natural opportunity either before the event starts or at the end of the event to say, hey, I included in your host packet the starter kit. What did you think about that? Do you have any questions for me about the opportunity, or have you ever thought about making money with Posh, or have you ever thought about doing what I do? And now the host has gotten an opportunity to see you run a party if you're asking at the end, so they might have some more specific questions for you. Another thing you can do is share your why toward the beginning of the event with all the guests so they can understand what you've gotten out of Posh, what Posh means to you, what it's like to be a consultant. You also want to share the opportunity and the starter kit in the event. So I usually do this toward the end. I just share pictures of the starter kit options, talk a little bit about what it means to join Posh, and the low cost, and then I offer up an opportunity for people to ask questions. So again, even if nobody asks questions, they're seeing the post, it's planting a seed. There are times people don't even know that this is a direct sales company. This is something where they could join and do this. So that alone is a really important seed planted. And you also want to include the option for more join info in that Google form that I spoke about earlier. So right under the option to say if they want to host an event, I also have an option where it says, would you like more information about the opportunity? So, and I write a little bit about what that means very briefly, but that gives somebody an opportunity to passively say, yeah, I kind of am interested, even if they were too nervous to say it in other opportunities they've had in the party. I definitely have had people join my team after checking that box, even though they showed no other interest anywhere else. The last thing I really like to focus on is embodying what it is to be Posh throughout the event. So everything you do, everything you say, is showing people what it's like to be a Posh consultant. It's showing people how fun it is to be part of Posh, how easy this job is, and how even like what it would be like to work more with you, like what it would be like to be on your team, because they're getting a feel for you. Final thoughts: be gracious and continue building a relationship even after you get no's, because no often means not right now, but you just have to build a deeper relationship maybe before people are comfortable hosting or joining. So don't write people off when they say no. Make sure that you keep checking in, keep building a relationship, keep chatting about Posh, and just make a mental note and check back in with them in the future. You could get a totally different answer later on. Don't write anybody off. Don't decide for anybody else what kind of future they have with Posh. And engage with everyone throughout the event as though they are your next host or your next teammate. Give everyone equal respect, even if they don't seem interested at all. You're always representing your brand. You're always showing people who you are, what you're about, and giving people positive vibes. The more that they associate you with, good feelings and self-care and happiness and prizes and presents, the more that they're going to want to be around you, and the more that they're going to recommend other people come check out what you've got to offer. So I hope this is helpful in taking your online events to the next level and building connections so that your next event can be infinitely impactful on your business. Bye, guys.